If you have ever been in a meeting and you felt like you rambled just a little bit too much, then this video is for you. In this video, we are going to talk about how to think on your feet like a leader. And the fact that you clicked on this video means that you are supposed to be here, because if you are interested in topics on how to think on your feet, how to communicate better as a woman in leadership, then you are at the best place right now. This is a video you absolutely want to watch until the very end, because I am sharing with you a lot, over 20 years, friends, worth of experience as a public speaker, as a director, and as a C-suite executive that will help you to think on your feet. So if you've ever struggled with this topic, maybe you've been in a board meeting and you had to do a presentation. Perhaps you've been in an interview and you just didn't know how to think on your feet. Maybe you've been in a meeting you were called to unexpectedly and you didn't know what to say. The strategies I'm sharing with you on my channel will help you to get over this and be that person that stands out from everybody else as a leader. Now, there's a couple things I want to say before we get into this topic today. First, if this is your first time here, this channel focuses heavily on those advanced level communication skills. And as I mentioned earlier, the fact that you clicked on this video means this is the right place for you, because this type of topic is not the type of topic for average leaders. No, you're not an average leader. You are an above average leader. You are an exceptional leader, which is why you clicked on this title. Now, I am an executive coach and I work one-on-one with women in leadership. However, I do have a lot of people, a lot of subscribers on the different platforms that I have accounts with that are not in my target audience. They may be women that are not in leadership roles. They may be men that are in leadership roles. So even if you're not in my audience that I work with directly, the information I'm going to share with you here will truly help you as a leader in how you are communicating and help you be able to go to that next level in terms of how you are communicating much better than your peers. If you are watching this portion of the video, you are more than likely watching the replay, friend, and I'm glad that you're here today. Typically on the YouTube Lives, there's a point in time where everyone starts to join the conversation. So give me just a few moments to say hello to everyone, and then we're going to talk into how thinking on your feet like a leader doesn't necessarily have to be that hard. Now, let me preface this by saying that what you are learning now, what you're going to learn today, is actually a little bit of a series I have on my channel. There's a video I recorded earlier this year, and right now it is October 29th, 2025. I recorded a video earlier this year, and in the video I recorded earlier this year, I talked about thinking on your feet. Now, if you want to think on your feet and learn how to think on your feet, then you want to stay and watch this video until the end. But this morning, I went into more detail on thinking on your feet as a woman in leadership. And now we're going to pick up from where we left off in the mornings. Therefore, if you have not watched the live this morning, you want to check it out, because I'm giving you some strategies to help you think on your feet. And I want to know from you, have you ever struggled with thinking on your feet? Let me know in the comments below. Before we get started, let me see who's here. We have Gracie is happy today. Well, Gracie is happy today. I absolutely love your name. That is a very nice name to have. And Gracie is happy today, says this is amazing. Well, Gracie is happy today. Welcome, friend. I'm glad you're here today. Let me know if you've ever struggled with thinking on your feet. And let's talk about today. Let's unpack a few strategies today. We have Newt Nation Boy. Welcome. How you doing today? Hope you're doing fantastically well. Let me know where you all are joining from in the big, beautiful world today, so I can say hello to you formally. Now, we talked about a lot of information this morning as it relates to thinking on your feet. So I'm going to highlight them very briefly, because I want you at least to know what we're talking about today. And then, as I mentioned, you definitely want to check out the live video from this morning that talks about think on your feet as a woman leader. So this morning, if you missed it, we're picking up the second part of it this evening. In terms of thinking on your feet, there's a couple things you have to keep in mind. I'm going to go over these quickly. If you want more detail, check out the live video on my channel about thinking on your feet as a woman leader. First is you have to keep your mind clear. Your mind needs to be clear and focused on what you're talking about. Second is instead of thinking on your feet, you need to listen on your feet. That's the second strategy. So if you like that, you want to check out the video. Third is to make sure that you have a very, very good knowledge base of your field. Make sure that you're very well versed in your industry. I talk about why this is important in the video this morning that I mentioned to you. And then finally, I mentioned and had my other strategy for you in terms of being able to respond, that concise response. So what we are going to pick up on today is the remaining of the strategy. So there's two more strategies I want to share with you about thinking on your feet, and we're going into responding concisely. Now we have our knowledge base together. As I mentioned, you want to check out the live video this morning to make sure you don't get left behind. But this evening, we're going to talk about two additional strategies to help you think on your feet as a leader. So let me know, welcome those of you who are joining right now. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from, friends. And then also, let me know if you ever struggled with thinking on your feet. Let me know in the comments below. Or maybe you have never struggled with thinking on your feet and you have some strategies that you would like to share. Let us know. Okay, so we're picking it up. Now we're at the point where thinking on your feet, we are at the point where we are responding to the individual or individuals that are communicating with us. Remember, in the live video I mentioned earlier today, there's typically two scenarios that are going to come up when you have to think on your feet. One is either you are in a one-on-one setting with someone, or two, you're with a group of people. Maybe the group is a small group, maybe the group is a big group. It doesn't matter. Those are typically the scenarios when you're going to need to think on your feet. The information I'm sharing with you is going to help you think on your feet, regardless of the scenario that you're in. Okay, so for instance, this is the strategy. Now, I would say my fifth strategy, based off of this morning, would be that you want to buy yourself some time to think. When you're trying to think on your feet, you need to think. You need to buy yourself a little bit of time to think. Now, you might be wondering, well, how is that possible? How do I buy myself time when I'm trying to think? What should I do? Well, I'm glad you're here. And thank you for the celebration caps today. I appreciate that, friends. And the heart emojis. Thank you. What should I do to buy myself time to think of a response? Well, there's two strategic ways you can do this. The first way is you can either pause and then respond. That means you have taken a few moments to just process what someone is asking you so that you can formulate a response in your mind and be able to say it to the individual. That's one way. I don't like doing it that way. And I'm going to share with you why in just a few moments. Actually, let me share with you why now. Because sometimes if you are having to think on your feet, how fast you respond really does make a difference. Now, if you're trying to build your executive presence and trying to establish yourself as a leader, you really cannot be the person that responds slowly. I'm going to share with you something that happened to me, and I hope the person that it happened was with me is not offended, but I have to use this as an example because this is a perfect example of when pausing, which you can do strategically. It just depends on the scenario, but it's not my first line of process in terms of what I would do in this particular scenario. Okay, so I'll share with you what happened when someone paused before they responded. Remember, I told you as a leader, you're going to do this quickly, very, 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 very quickly. I was on a media outlet and I was on the news and I was with a coworker at the time talking about a specific event that was going on. And when a question was asked to the other person that was with me, they paused before they responded to the question. And it looked awkward. It looked like the person was not exactly sure of what they were trying to say, because the reason why they say that is they really, 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 really tried to answer the question, but they couldn't answer the question that well because they paused in front of their response. So this is something that actually happens if you pause before you actually respond. This can make it appear as if you don't know what you're saying, you don't know what to do, or etc. Now, this is why I don't like to do it this way. I would prefer for you not to do that, but you may strategically need to stay quiet and then respond. The way I like to respond in terms of thinking on your feet is the following. I like to respond back to that person with a question. And let me give you some examples of questions that I have given to people in the past that buy yourself time to think. As I mentioned, my 5th strategy was buy yourself some time. Buy yourself some time. Let me give you some insight. So if someone asks you a question, we decided that we're not going to pause before we respond, which you can use it strategically, but we are going to talk about how you can buy yourself time with a question. So when this comes up, you want to say a couple of questions that can give you a few moments. Before I go into that, let me see who's on the chat. We did have a message earlier from a person that was not really relevant to what we're talking about. And let's see, we have S Chalker 2901. Welcome. Hoping you should be doing. Hope you're doing well. This topic, what we're talking about is very, very important. And this is a channel where I talk about very advanced level communication skills, not about random nonsense. There's a lot of other live people here on YouTube that may talk about random nonsense, but this is not the channel for me. That's not my channel specifically. All right, we have M. Rimbon Achogi. Hello, welcome. I didn't see the rest of your message. You're welcome to put that here on the chat here. So let's talk about how you buy yourself some time when you're trying to think on your feet and respond. So the first question you can say is a clarifying question. So specifically, you could ask the person, can you please explain what you're referring to? Can you please give me an example of what you are referring to? Can you be specific about this instance that you're talking about, and etc. There are so many ways you can buy yourself time. So this is a great way to still showcase yourself as somebody that can think on your feet, because you're responding to the initial question quickly with a question. Why is this strategic, and why do you need to start doing this immediately today? Because when you are given a question, and I describe this on my channel as someone's throwing a ball at you, like you're tossing a ball, right? Somebody just gave you a question and said, you need to answer this question. And you're thinking, well, how do I want to respond to that? I'm not quite sure. What should I do? If you decide that you want to give a question back, then give the question back to them and then have them respond, while that gives you time to think in your mind in terms of specifically what it is that you want to say. This will buy you time. And oftentimes when people are in meetings and they find themselves rambling, they don't know what to say, what they do is they think of the very first thing that comes to their mind when they are asked a question. And I encourage you, don't do that unless you are ready to respond in a concise way. If you know that you are not ready to respond in a concise way, and this is for me as a public speaker, I've been in situations where I needed to formulate a response just like anybody else. If you know you're not in the position to respond in a very concise way, then buy yourself some time, because what's going to happen is the following. You are going to talk and you're going to explain what you're trying to say to the individual to answer their question. And you're going to start explaining, going around in a circle and around in a circle to figure out what it is you're trying to say. And then you're going to end up saying, what I'm trying to say is, and by that time, ladies and gentlemen, you have already spoken way too much. Therefore, take this strategy and use it. Feel free to use any question I just gave you. If you want some more questions, I have lots of them that you can use to buy yourself time. But if you are asked a question and you are not quite sure how to respond, instead of looking like the leader that doesn't know what they're talking about, which if you are subscribed to my channel and following me here, you know that is not happening. You're going to be the person that sounds like you know what is going on. Then you want to make sure you are able to prepare a response that is very concise, that shows you can think on your feet. Now, let me know in the comments below if you have ever struggled with thinking on your feet, or if you have some questions as it relates to it. Have you ever been in a scenario where it was difficult for you to think on your feet and you weren't quite sure what to do? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to provide you with some support there. So we talked about why it's important in terms of thinking on your feet and the strategies and how it looks to other people, depending on if you decide to pause, because you'll hear that a lot on YouTube. On YouTube, people will say, pause before you speak, pause before you say something. And sometimes you need to do that, but sometimes you can still appear as if you think quickly on your feet if you just automatically give a question back. Can you clarify? Can you give me an example? Can you be more specific? Can you explain to me what you're referring to? Can you give me an instance when this happened? Can you tell me about a time when this complaint was made? There are so many questions that you can give back to that person to give you time to think on your feet and give a good response. Now, let's go into the response in terms of specifically what you want to say. So let's say you've asked a clarifying question. That gives that other person time to clarify, because sometimes when people ask you a question, they are not asking the question in a clear way. Therefore, if you can ask them back and say, can you please respond to this question and clarify it, they have to think about the question that they asked you, and they have to say, wait a second, maybe I didn't say it correctly. What should I say? And while they're thinking, you're thinking, so that you can respond quickly on your feet, and you can think on your feet and respond in a very concise way. So we talked about a lot of prep work that happens before the response, right? We've given one response. We responded back to the question quickly, so it looks like we know what we're doing. You want to be that leader that can respond quickly. Leaders are the executives. They are decisive. They can speak in an articulate way very fast. And if this is something that you are struggling with or you want some help with in your woman in leadership, then reach out to me for a strategy session in the description below. Let's get you where you want to be. I will absolutely help you get there. Just let's have a chat. Let's talk about it, and let's see what we can do. Now, my last strategy for today is the actual speaking part of thinking on your feet. Now, I appreciate the heart emojis. And before I go into that, let's see. We have States Sandler _ Josie. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Hamilton, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Let me know if you ever struggle with thinking on your feet. Let me know in the comments below. We'll talk about how we can help you get over that challenge today. We've talked about a lot of things so far, and you definitely want to check out the live video I did earlier today about thinking on your feet as a woman leader. And then also there's another live video on my channel that talks about thinking on your feet from earlier this year. And then we're picking up this information here. So we have States Sandler Josie _ Josie. You're so nice. I like. Oh, well, thank you, friend. I appreciate that. Feel free to join the channel. We talk about advanced level communication skills to help you stand out from everybody else as a leader. Okay, so we're going into the sixth strategy. My sixth strategy is now we're going to give a response. Now, this is when you want to be very, very specific in terms of your response. What people do not like as leaders is when someone asks you a question and you don't answer it. Try to answer the question. So before I go into that, we have BLOX-D1P. Welcome. How are you doing today? We have Inda Chan Jimming 57. Welcome, friends. How y'all doing today? Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from. And thank you for the heart emojis, friends. All right, so you have to respond. This is the sixth strategy. For those of you who just joined, we just went over 5 strategies to help you think on your feet. And if you want to learn them, watch the live video from this morning that talks about think on your feet as a woman leader, and then watch this live also. It will help you learn how to think on your feet very quickly. All right, so now we got to speak on our feet, right? We have to say something. So when someone asks you a question, the worst thing that you can do is not answer the question. Therefore, you have to listen very carefully to what's being said. Now, when that person has answered your clarifying question that you used to buy yourself time to think on your feet, then you want to directly answer the question. Unless you need to go around it a little bit. Let's say you just need a little bit more time. You don't want to use too much time, just a little bit. I would answer the question. So if someone asks you specifically about a result for a project or etc., just answer the question. Answer what it is, because this is what makes you come across as that very concise leader that can articulate themselves and communicate in an effective manner. Where I see a lot of people struggle, women in leadership struggle with this, and men in leadership struggle with this also, is that we just start to just say what's on our mind. And yes, you want to say what's on your mind, but if you're trying to be a bit more polished in your delivery, then you absolutely want to take care of the strategies I mentioned to you and start incorporating them into your meetings, your conversations, so that it comes across as you being the person that can actually think on your feet like a leader. When you see leaders, they are thinking on their feet. They are very decisive. They can respond quickly. This is a skill that you have to learn. This is a skill that people are not born with. You may think they're born with it, but ultimately they've had some time to practice, and you can do it too. You can absolutely do it. If you clicked on this video, I know this topic is important to you and you're meant to be here to watch it, because I know that you're trying to do a lot more in your life. You're just trying to fine tune how you're communicating as a leader. So as I mentioned, you want to make sure you answer the question. Answer the question that is given to you. If you need to expand on the question and talk a bit more about it, that's fine, but give a direct answer first. So let me give you an example. Someone, let's say they ask me, can you share with me the progress on a specific project? I've already given them a question about it. So let's say they ask me, can you share with me project on a specific project? Let's say, I don't know exactly what I want to say exactly. I need time to think. I would go back to them and say, can you tell me what specific aspect on the project that you would like to learn more information about? We have there's so many pieces of the project. And if I talked about all the pieces of the project, we would be here all day. So I want to make sure I understand exactly what you're looking for. Give them time to think and to respond, because that basically checks the person. You're checking them to say, okay, you're asking me this vague question. I need you to be more specific. What exactly are you looking for? Not only does this showcase you and present your executive presence, and if you want to learn more about developing your executive presence as a leader, this is a place for you to be. Watch my live videos. I can't go into a ton of detail at the moment because I have so many live videos that talk about it. But you're checking this person saying, hold on, you're asking me a very vague question and I don't know what specifically you're looking for. How about you give me a few moments and tell me what you're looking for so I can respond? So that person has to think of their response. They're going to tell you what aspect of the project it is that they want to know the status update of. And now when they say it to you, you can come back and say, the project is doing very well on this particular aspect of it. We have accomplished this result in the project. Remember, I answered the question directly. I know what they're asking for. I asked the question directly. So after I've done that, then I can talk about other stuff if I have time. There's a rule of thumb that I work with my one-on-one clients to really master, is how long they're speaking and how to develop their internal clock in terms of when they need to know when they need to stop speaking. Now, that's something you have to work with me to learn how to do. That is something I cannot teach you here on YouTube because it is so specific to you that it's something that we just have to work together on. So if you've ever been the rambling type of person and you speak a little more than what you'd like to, and you want to start developing your own internal clock, then contact me if you're a woman in leadership for a strategy session in the description below. I will absolutely help you do that. But as I mentioned, you want to respond to the question. We responded to the question. And if you have a few moments to maybe showcase something else amazing you're doing with your project, then that's a great time for you to do it. People think that when you're asked a question, you have to answer it and you have to move on. Now, sometimes you have to. If you're in a political setting where, let's say, for instance, you're getting rapid fire questions that are asked to you and you're trying to answer as many as you can, then you absolutely want to answer the question, move on. Answer the question, move on. Answer the question, move on. But if you are trying to put yourself in a situation where you want to answer the question but then showcase another great thing you're doing, then use the strategy that I shared with you. Answer the question directly and then talk about something else amazing that you've done with your project. Because then at that point, the person that asked you the question feels like you listened to them and you answered their question about the specific part of the project that they wanted to learn about. And then you were able to showcase to everybody else or other people or one-on-one, doesn't matter, that not only have you achieved this result in your project, but you're also doing other amazing things in your project as well. The strategies I have shared with you have taken me over 20 years to figure it out, to put it in a format that will help you to be successful when you're trying to think on your feet. I know how hard it is being a leader, especially a woman in leadership. Oftentimes we're in roles that are predominantly occupied by men, and it's hard. And if you're a man in leadership, it's hard too. Sometimes we go into these roles and we don't know what to do or what to say. And so that's why I'm here to support you on the channel, because whether you are in my target audience that I work with in a one-on-one coaching, executive coaching session, in terms of being a woman in leadership, or if you are a woman that's not a leader, or a man in leadership, what I'm sharing with you, people struggle with every single day. I've seen it over the past 20 years, and I know how hard it is out there being in the leadership world. I can say for me personally, I really struggled because I did not have a solid foundation of really exceptional leaders as I was growing up to help me learn how to communicate confidently under pressure. And if you want to communicate confidently under pressure, then this is the best place for you to be on YouTube. You will learn these real world strategies, real world techniques here on this channel. I specifically do not talk about hypotheses and theories and formulas as it relates to real situations when you're in the fire. There's a lot of channels that talk about that. There's a lot of people on LinkedIn that talk about it in that way. I'm here to give you the real strategies. This is what will actually work and will actually help you if you're trying to think on your feet and communicate more confidently under pressure as a leader. All right, we have ANS Human Mana Data 4060. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? If I did not pronounce your name correctly, my apologies. I'm sorry about that. I wanted to make sure I got it as close as I could to the name, but appreciate you being here. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you're joining from today. And if you have any of you ever struggled with thinking on your feet, let me know in the comments below. This is the time for you to ask me anything, even if you're watching the replay. I know we have a lot of individuals live, and I appreciate you all being here and spending time with me and learning how to elevate your communication skills. But even if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments below. Have you ever struggled with thinking on your feet? I know people have. I have struggled with it many years ago. This is the reason why I have learned to master it, because I have been practicing for over 20 years. And I'm sharing with you over 20 years of insights, strategies, secrets that people are not talking about on YouTube to help you truly elevate to that next level in your career. So let me know what your thoughts are. There's a couple things. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. We've been talking about thinking on your feet, and I know this is a topic that people struggle with, which is why I spend a lot of time on it. But if you're new, you just joined, I know there's a few people that just joined the channel. My name is Dr. Jacinta. I'm an executive coach, and I'm here really to help you communicate at a higher level. I genuinely believe that people become great by how they communicate. And my mission here on this earth is to unlock the greatness within you. How do I do that? I want to help you communicate at a higher level than your peers, because if I can help you just increase your communication skills and how you're speaking as a leader, even the slightest amount, you're going to stand out from everybody else. Now, many times leaders, managers, C-suite executives, we struggle with those very difficult under pressure situations in terms of how we communicate. I have been in some very contentious and some very friendly conversations as a leader, and I want to share with you some of the challenges that people typically struggle with, or mistakes that people make, mistakes that I personally have made as it relates to communicating confidently under pressure. Now, if you are in a leadership role, this is the place for you. Whether you are a woman in leadership or a man in leadership, you're going to learn some priceless gems on this channel. Now, if you happen to be a woman in leadership, then that is my direct target audience in terms of who I work with one-on-one in an executive coaching session. So if you have anything that you're struggling with, then contact me for a strategy session in the description below, and we will have a conversation about where you are and where you are going. that is the channel as a whole. This is a definitely no fluff type of channel. I don't want you to leave here not learning something. I want you to be able to take something with you that you can start working immediately in your day-to-day lives, your conversations you're having with other individuals. There are several videos, there's several playlists that I'm working on right now to make things more easier for you all to understand. And I want you to see how you can really handle situations under pressure. I've had several situations come up on my channel where I've had people say things that are just flat out inappropriate, some very offensive comments, some anti-Semitic comments, and I would say that it makes it hard sometimes when you're telling somebody how to manage yourself and how to conduct yourself under pressure. But sometimes if you can see it for yourself, then you get the sense of, oh, okay, when someone does this, this is how I need to respond. Therefore, I'm going to put a couple things together for you, a couple playlists. I'm working on it, friends. I have a ton of things going on at the moment, but I'm going to place them in a playlist so that you can easily see these executive presence moments or how to manage yourself under pressure in real time with me, because you'll see how I do it. I have situations that will come up, and I want to make sure that you're learning as much as you can. And I personally do not want to have people on the channel that are just distracting and being ridiculous. Like there was a comment earlier today about my glasses. What is wrong with my glasses? I didn't even entertain it because it was complete nonsense. Some stuff is just like I'm not going to mention because it's so ridiculous. But that's the reason why you are here on this channel. It's not a matter of me talking to you and sharing with you theories and hypotheses and etc. No, I will show you what it means to be a leader and how to communicate under pressure and how to handle yourself and showcase your executive presence, because it's critically important for you to have. There's a lot of people that think executive presence is a myth or it's not real. It's some mystical unicorn that nobody knows about and doesn't exist. Well, I'm here to tell you that executive presence is real, and probably those people that are saying that it's a myth are the people that were not able to learn how to master it. So this is the channel for you if you're really trying to elevate, because many of you are your leaders, but you're not just leaders. You're not just leaders. There's no way, if you're clicking on my content and you watch any of my videos or you subscribe to my channel, you are not the average leader. I know that. I know that you're not the average leader. You're the person that is going to change your community. You're going to change your state. You're going to change your country. You're going to change your world. I know this. And I take this seriously because I want to make sure that I can help you any way you can. You're going to deal with fire as a leader. You're going to deal with pressure as a leader. And how you respond will truly showcase your executive presence and how you are presenting yourself as a leader and your ability to inspire and influence other people. So I appreciate you all for being here. I'm so excited that you spent some time with me today to learn about this, because I know if you're watching this, you're already at that level. You're just trying to just go up and really elevate how you communicate. And I'm here to really help you do that. Whether you are doing salary negotiations, presenting to boards, presenting your business to other organizations, you're planning a large community event, you're speaking at a conference, you're speaking in your day-to-day conversations, you're trying to influence people and persuade them to buy your product, whatever the case may be. This is why I'm here. I'm here really to support you all on your journey and help you communicate at that next level. Now, if you are new, I go live on this channel Tuesday through Friday. Right now, it used to be one time a day, but now I'm going live 2 times a day. Once in the morning, once in the evening. And let me know what you all think about that. Do you like it? I'm trying to get as much information out there as I can to help you, because I know it's hard out there as a leader. You know, regardless if you're a woman in leadership or a man in leadership, it's hard. And having those very high pressured moments and high stakes situations, sometimes it's very difficult to know what to say. I've worked with different congressional leaders on the national level here in the United States, and also statewide here in the Sunshine State of Florida. So I've had that higher level interactions in terms of communication, which is why this is so incredibly passionate to me and why I want to help you. So I hope you all have found some knowledge out of this today. Let me know which was your favorite strategy. And remember, if you have not watched the first video, Think on Your Feet, is from earlier this year. The second video was today, this morning, and the third video is, of course, now. But take some time to look at them. I guarantee you're going to learn something about thinking on your feet And I want to make this to where thinking on your feet is something that is not hard for you. It's something you can do just like that very quickly and be that person that stands out, because most people struggle with thinking on your feet. And if you're subscribed to the channel, this is something you're not going to struggle with too much longer. So I hope you all have a fantastic day. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you for getting us to 500 subscribers. I just appreciate you all so much, more than you ever know. Let me know what you want to learn more about. I'm here to support you. If you give me a topic, I will absolutely do a video for you. Do it either in a live format or perhaps in a pre-recorded format. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Just let me know what you need help with. Let me know what you're struggling with, and I will do a video for you. Or if you need some customized support, then just contact me for a strategy session. There's only but so much I can share with you in a large setting, worldwide setting like YouTube. But sometimes you just need that customized, like one-on-one support in terms of what am I dealing with, that we can develop a strategy around to help you do very well. So I hope you have an amazing day. Check out my live for tomorrow morning. The topic will be to be determined, but feel free to let me know if you have any questions or if there's any topics you want to learn more about. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.